In the world, a lot of cultures have these exogamy systems to prevent inbreeding. And for example, in the Australian indigenous cultures, it's like the white people call it a kinship system, but it's exogamy, and it's actually one of the more complex ones. And without like going into great detail, essentially that what it meant is that each person, when they were born, based on their parents and things like that, there was a known animal totem that represented that. You know, so maybe like go out parenti and something else meant kangaroo was next. Whatever. Right? So I'm not trying to say that that's correct, but and then kangaroo could only hang out with like wombat, whatever. Right? And if they went out for the other one, bad, dangerous, you know, like sick. Like, so this system, and what also actually just staying on the Australian indigenous one, which is interesting, is that the interconnected totem creatures wrap around, so that it turns out that then as an example, like a 14-year-old is the grandmother of the great grandfather, and therefore has to look after him. And so is his mother, kind of thing, like, or whatever. Like, and so, you know, so then responsibility is kind of also, besides being an exogamy system in the indigenous Australian one, where it was protecting against inbreeding, it also did this other thing, which created a built-in responsibility network, so that elders were actually looked after by young people.
Taken care of,
because you knew that that was your child, this 80-year-old man, whatever. Here's an example. So it is my opinion, though, that and there are other kinds of ones around the world that are
use that similar technique.
It's very special. So here's my guess: is that, say, for example, in China,
keeping the intermingling to a minimum.
Now there's the Chinese zodiac, and the rat, and the horse, and the snake,
same system,
and the rabbit, etc. That actually, it's actually the same system. That's actually like the system of like not just
a lot of the horoscopes were actually designed to stop people from fucking each other, but take place in their own,
and to create these concepts of auspicious marriages and stuff like that. You know, and the design of them and the span of them over years are actually indicative of like what is expected of types of pairings across ages to indicate that. For example, like if you're in the Chinese zodiac, like say I'm a rat, you know, and so either I should be, you know, married to someone who's the same, or like it would be like this almost like a 12-year, like this particular kind of gap. So but you know, but beyond that, it doesn't make sense. It starts getting too far away, and so it has these built-in even kind of measures and systems, I think, around trying
to keep it closer to your age when it comes to being with someone as well. Rather than having the big gap. Or if
you are like in that age gap, it's sort of like whatever it is, like it's a 12-year gap or something like that, and you'd be like once again, if we're talking about younger or 15, and so you'd be like 20, you're not like 70 or something like that. But I think also the auspicious nature, and it really there's so much investment, you know, in this concept of the auspicious marriages and births that are built around these systems, which are actually exogamy, I feel. So potentially the astrological stuff in Europe is a European like version of that, and I suspect that why that has come to pass is that the traditional clan-based belief systems that would have been through Europe, that were then disintegrated by Rome, you know, and then everyone was kind of just a servant to Rome.
A lot of back there in the clan stuff, you're marrying into families and things like that.
They had exogamy systems. Like say through UK and everything, all those small clans, they all had types of exogamy systems.
And their own versions of it,
So, and then in a sense, when I think about Rome coming through, it kind of destroys that, because it just makes you like a breeder unit for the empire. And it says, don't be following that crap. You make another slave when we want you to make a slave. You're going to do your breeding stuff.
You'll be fucking when we say fuck. That's it.
And which is sort of more today's experience, you know, where that kind of sacredness or whatever has been disintegrated.
Eroded and disintegrated,
I don't know, like, now we just hope for the best.
Happy-go-lucky, you know.
Well, it's interesting.
Shoot for the stars.
If you try, like think about like if you tried to actually only date people who were auspicious. So it was like a Chinese and system. Like say you decided to use that as a system or whatever. Like
as your basis,
and so then you were actually going, I only want, you know, Aquarian, you know, rats and dragons, you know, as an example, like because
won't be interested in anything else.
Anything else,
regardless of cuteness, because they're the ones that are going to work.
That's going to work, right? We'll supply, you know, evidence of like I don't know, like it is an interesting thing to not inbreed in that way, and to enforce like that genetic diversity and strength. In say for example in Australia.
I think just it's important for survival side. Like to be too close is just to weaken the chances of survival. Like if you really care about your clan, you don't want to weaken it, you want to strengthen it.
You do.